Hey guys, this is Sheikh, and today I'm gonna start a new tutorial on AJAX, that is to submit and to submit the record to the database and to check whether that user exists in the database. Okay? Let me first show you an example. If I try to enter one name, it's showing me as soon as I finishes typing the username, it's showing me not found. Actually it's saying me that this name is available and I can use this name to be saved into my database. That is, this name is not exist in my database. So if I enter Pawan, okay, so it's showing me already exist, so I cannot now it's saying me that it's already exists and you cannot use it for another time. So I'll just change it to Mohit, and if I click on submit, it says record inserted. Okay, let's just check in our database. See, there is a record with the name of Mohit is been saved. So if I come back again and try to enter Rachel, it's saying me it's already exists. So, Rachel, okay, not found. Okay, so it's saying me it's available to use. I can submit this record to my database. So if I click on submit, it says record inserted, and if I check to my database, see here Mitchell is inserted. So this kind of functionality will be going to achieve in this tutorial, and I'm using an AJAX technology to in order to get this kind of functionality. AJAX stands for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It allows us to modify or update parts of our pages without the entire page getting refreshed. And normally what happens is, whenever we create any PHP file and when we submit the data or we post the data to our database, to our server, we will be sending to different page. But in this case, I don't want to send my page to I don't want to redirect my user to somewhere else, that is to some other page. The moment I save a record, the moment I enter, let us say, the name of Purab, it's saying me it's available to use, and the moment when I submit, or a text box, username field and button should be situated in this place only. It should not take us, or it should not redirect us to the different page. So when I click on the submit, so it's not going anywhere, it's not redirecting to some other page. Instead of that, it's keeping the same page alive, so that the user didn't get disturbed. So this kind of functionality can be achieved with the help of AJAX. So let us start with our editor. I have created a folder called web service. Inside my htdocs folder, I have created one folder with the name of web service, and I have opened this folder inside my editor. And first I will do is I will just create a file. Let's save it and give it a name as config.php. I'll be writing down the code for my configuration file, that is all my database connectivity configuration will be set up inside this file. Just to MySQL connect to our database, .1/comma, username is root, and I haven't set any password for my database. so I'll just leave it as blank. And then my SQL select. Here I need to select the database. Our database name is web service. Click on this. I have created a database with the name of web service. In order to create a database, you just need to click on this database option, and here just type in the name of your database and then click on create. Your database will get created. Similarly, I have created one database with the name of web service. Okay, inside this there is already one database exists with the name of users, but I want to create another table with the name of AJAX with two fields, that is ID and username. ID and username. ID will be integer and username will be varchar 50. Okay, I'm gonna set the ID as a primary key and I'll make it as auto incremented. Now I'll save it. Okay, now I've created a table inside my database web service. So just type in the name of the database and pass the connection variable. Okay, now our database configuration file has been set up. So let us create an index file. Right click on the folder and then click on new file. Okay, now doc.html, save it and give the name as index.html. Okay, you can create a PHP file also. HTML. Okay. Title as AJAX tutorial, and then just type in script source equals to, we need to create a JS folder here. Right click and create one folder as JS. Okay, and inside this folder we need to create a file called jquery.min.js. I have already downloaded that file. I have kept that file on my desktop. See, jquery.min.js. You can download it from the internet. Just type in jquery.min.js and you will get few results, and just open any of the result and just download this file. Now I will cut this file by pressing Ctrl X, and I will go to my root folder, that is web service, and inside JS I will place this file. Okay, now you can see I got this file inside my JS folder, and then I'll just refer this file by just typing in jquery.min.js. And okay, now I have to create another JS file with the name of script.js, and inside the body let's create a div. Okay, and then label as username, and then input field type as text, id as username. Okay, then no need to put the name, and then input type, submit, and id as submit. Okay, and value as submit, and just below this div I'm going to create one span to display the message to the user with an id of response. Okay, now let us go to our browser and type in 127.0.0.1 / web service. Okay, here you can see we have created one username text box and a submit button. Now we need to create our PHP file to get the data. Let us first create a file to add the data, to save the data into the database. So I will just create one file as process.php. I need to include my configuration file here, config.php, and then the username field username. Okay, here whatever value a user will enter in this text box, that value will get posted to this process.php file, and we will receive that value inside this variable called username. $SQL equals to insert into table of AJAX with value of $username. Okay, and field name is username. Okay, this is an SQL query with the help of which I'll be saving the data into my database, and this is the table name, and I'm telling I want to place the value, whatever value the user inserting here, that value will get sent out, or that value will get posted out to this file here and received in this variable, and I am passing this variable here, and I am telling to store this value inside a field username of my database here. Okay, you can see inside my table username field is there. I want to store that value inside my username field, and then else if MySQL query of SQL record inserted successfully. Okay, just copy this paste it here, then else failure. Okay, I have to show a success message if the if I'll be able to insert the record inside my database, and I'll be showing an error message if I'm not able to save the data inside my database. So now our process.php file is completed, where I have written down the code to insert the data, insert the values inside my database. That is, this is the server side server side code is been completed. Now I need to create one JS file inside my JS folder with a name called script.js. Save it, Control S, script.js. Okay, and save it. And here just type in hello. Okay, just for testing purpose whether I'm referencing those files or not. Just right click on this page and click on view page source, and okay, save it. Now refresh it and click on this. Okay, I'm successfully referencing those files. Now script, okay, this file is also referring. Okay, now let's come to our script.js, and here we need to type in our JavaScript code. Ready, function, document function. Okay, now dollar submit. Here I need to pass the ID of our button, which is this ID I need to pass. Dot click function. Okay, here I'm saying whenever a user click on this button with an ID of submit, that is this one, whenever a person click on this button which has the ID of submit, which I am using here, then I want that user name value dot val ID. Okay, whenever a user type in some value and click on submit, that value will get collected here in this variable called username. Okay, this is how we can refer to that value, username ID, which is this ID dot val. Okay, then data string equals to username plus. Okay, I'm storing the whatever field is being entered by the user inside the variable called data string, and here I'm checking for the emptiness. Else, if username equals to null, then and using a tag, this one I'm using this span response ID. Just copy this and paste it here. Response ID, I'm using this response to display the message. This will all the details. Okay, let us check, refresh. So when I click on submit, see, please fill all the details, because I haven't entered anything here. Copy and paste it here. Good to go. Okay, now just refresh. If I click on submit without entering anything in this text field, I will get a message saying that please fill all the details. If I enter, let's say hello, okay, I'll say good to go. Okay, this block will get executed. I'll just delete this and I'll use post method. Okay, here I need to pass our URL. We need to pass the path of our file, which is this process.php, and then data string, and then function, data, copy this and paste it here. Response dot html data, and then this one, copy this and paste it here. Okay, put double quote. Okay, so now let me explain this code. So whenever the user type in anything in this text field and click on submit, the value will get posted out to this file called process.php, because we have given a path of our process.php file here. So this file will get called here and the data will be received here. Whichever value the user will get entered here will received here and stored inside this variable called username. And with the help of this insert query, I will be passing this username value to the database field name called username, and that automatically with that value will get stored inside this table. Okay, so here this query will get executed, and whenever user enters any value, the control will come here, the process.php, and this data string will hold the value, which is whatever value user will be entering inside the text box. That value will get stored inside this data string, and that this data string I'll be sending this data string to this process.php file, and once the value get stored inside this, and that value will get inserted with the help of this insert SQL query. And if here it will check for the response from the server, response from our database. Here it will check whether a value is been inserted in the database or not. If the value gets inserted in the database, then it will return this value. If the value that has been stored inside the username field didn't get stored inside our database, then we will get a message as failure. Okay, so we will be returning this value record inserted successfully, or we will be inserting this value based the value called failure based on the insertion success or insertion failure in database. This value will get returned to this file here. Okay, the data variable will store this value, either this value or this value. If the data gets inserted, then this value record inserted successfully will get stored inside the variable called data. If the data didn't get stored inside the database, then the value called failure will get stored inside the variable data and display and it will display with the help of this response ID on our web page. Okay, now let us save it and let us refresh and submit. Okay, please fill all the details and say Raj, submit. Okay, let's just right click and click on inspect. Okay, refresh this page. Type in as Raj and submit. Okay, nothing is happening. Here I have got one error. Let's click on this, click on console, and I will get you will see the error saying that web service / process.php not found. Let's click on this. Okay, process.php. Process.php. Okay, it's here. Okay, spelling mistake. Refresh. Raj and submit. Okay, failure. The server is responding with a message of failure. From here and just print it. Okay, nothing is stored in the database. Now just refresh it and submit. Okay, okay, insert into AJAX. Insert into AJAX, username, values, Raj. Okay. Configuration for web service. Database name is web service. Just copy this and paste it here. Copy the table name. Refresh Raj and click on submit. Okay, still it's showing failure. Okay. Okay, I'll just copy this from here and click on SQL, select this and paste this query here. Semicolon, insert into AJAX, username, values, Raj. Click on okay, one value will get submitted. That means our query is perfect. There is no issues with the queries. Okay. I'll refresh the page. Okay, register. refresh. Hit submit. Okay, error. Submit. Failure. Okay, everything is fine here. Action MySQL connect. Refresh. Okay, now it's showing record inserted successfully. Click on the table. You will see Rohit is stored inside my database. The problem was with the configuration file. I had written a dot instead of comma here. That's why it was not able to save the file inside, save the data inside my database. So now let's just come here and remove this echo. David. Now it will record. I will store the data inside the database without redirecting to the next page. Okay, let's see. On the same page itself, I'll be getting the response from my server saying that record inserted successfully. This is the same response which I am getting from my server once the data gets stored inside the database. Now I'll be discussing the functionality of saying whether that record is already exist or not, which is this one. Okay, see, it's showing already exist, and for David it's showing not found. Okay, this functionality now I'll be going to discuss here. So for that we need to create another PHP file. Create a new file. Okay, and save it with the name of user found the PHP. Okay, now include the configuration file config.php, and the same way what I have done for the last time. Use the field for username $_post username $SQL MySQL query select username from table called AJAX, where field name username equals to $username. Okay, and type it if the server responded with a message, return some value. SQL, I will check for the number of rows returned from the database. MySQL num rows of SQL. Then I will display a message saying that num rows is greater than 0. I will display a message as already exist, else equal not equal. Here whatever value the user going to enter inside this text box will get received here, and this value will be passed inside this query, and with the help of select username value from table called AJAX, where the username field is equals to whatever value the user will be putting inside the text box. And here I am giving a condition checking the availableness of the data. Here I am checking for the number of rows. If I will get a number greater than 0, that is 1. If my server return a number greater than 0, that is 1, then I will return, then our server will return a response saying that already exists. And if the server return a value of 0, then I will display a message as not found. So we just need to write JavaScript code for this. Okay, here and dollar submit key up. We need to use key up event for this function. Username equals to this one. We just copy these two statements and paste it here. Dot post URL, that is our server path name, which is in our case not found .php, sorry, user found.php, and we will be posting this data string variable. Function data, this statement copy and paste it here. Okay, so let me just discuss the flow once again. So whenever user enters a value inside this text box, that value will get passed. See, whenever user click on submit, the value will get passed. The value will get passed here inside this file, inside this JS file. Here the value will get stored inside this variable called username, and from here the same value will get stored inside a variable called data string, and this value which is stored inside the variable data string will be sent to the file called user_found.php, and that value will get received here inside the variable called username, and this value will be selected from the database with the help of this query. Here I will be selecting the value, select username, name of the user from the table called AJAX, where the username field is equals to the whatever value the user is going to insert inside the text box. So after this I will check if the value which has been entered by the user is available or not. If the server return, if the value is available, then the server will return a value greater than 1. That means the value is already exists. If the server didn't return any value, then it means that the value is not found. Okay, so now let's just refresh. Type in Raj. Okay, I'm not getting any response from the server. Config.php, here it's okay. Submit. Okay, it's not okay, sorry, it's actually username. Okay, we need I have to bind to this text box. I need to bind my key up event to this text box field, okay, not to this button. because whenever a user type in, and as soon as he comes out of the focus of this text box, at this time I should display a message. So I had to type in, I need to pass the ID of my text box field. So now let's just refresh and type in Rohit. Okay, now it's showing already exists because this Rohit name is been already stored inside my database. Now let's see, it's showing now not found because it is not available inside my database. So I'll just click on submit, record inserted successfully. Now let's come to our table and see data gets stored inside the table, which is Memur, and let's check once again for a name called David. Okay, it's saying it's already exists in our database because you can see here David is already available in my database table. So if I change it to Rachel, so not found because Rachel is unavailable. So this is not, sorry, Rachel is not present or stored inside my table. So if I click on submit, that's why it's showing not found. If I click on submit now, the record gets submitted or stored inside the database. And if I click on a table, and I'll see the name is been stored inside my database. So this is how we can make use of AJAX technology to store the data inside our table without the page getting refreshed or without redirecting the user to the different page. So this is a very cool technology, and developers will use this AJAX technology in a lot of places while developing their application in real-time scenarios. So I hope you enjoy this video tutorial. It's a long tutorial, nearly 40 minutes long video tutorial on AJAX. I hope you got some useful information out of this video. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel and click on that small like button which you see just below the video. Okay, I will see you in my next video where I will be coming up with more and more new and interesting videos. Okay guys, I will see you in my next video. Bye.